What's going on, everybody? Vince Goodrum here. It is Tuesday night, and the reason for the video is a lot of people have actually seen the massive increase in Vegan Gains' muscular structure. Now, I will be the first to admit that his physique at present has pretty much outmatched anything that I ever developed, even at my peak form back in 1999 when I was a corrections officer. That was when I was the biggest and the most muscular because the spaghetti I was using was top notch trend basically. But we're not here really to discuss me. I mean, like I said, he's already far outmatched what I ever had. But a lot of people are trying to guess his stack as well as to try to figure out how he got big so much. And the problem is that a lot of people are only taking the drugs that he's into account and not taking anything else. And the truth of the matter is that while obviously, the spaghetti has helped increase his physique, I would honestly say that's only 25% of, his increase in mass. I've actually discussed this numerous times. Other pro bodybuilders from the 90s, Sean Ray, Flex Wheeler, Lee Haney, and other bodybuilders have discussed the exact same thing I'm going to tell you, folks. The spaghetti that he's been taking, that's only 25% of the formula. You have two other formulas that's in place. Number one is diet. You know, the thing about it is that you can't get big unless you eat big. Now, I would honestly say that he would look better if he ate some protein and meat, but he ain't gonna do that. After all, his name is Vegan Gains, which means he's a vegan. So he is taking an enormous amount of calories to fuel his workouts here. That's for starters here. Without having the fuel for his workouts, the steroids wouldn't do him no bit of good. But here's the main thing. And again, this is something that a lot of bodybuilders have discussed. It's an issue with the most common modern bodybuilders that's out there on the stage right now. And that is the fact as far as to the type of training that's being done. And one thing that is quite noticeable is this: Vegan Gains only uses, really, for the most part, free weights. I've not seen him use a cable weight or anything else. He practically all he uses is just straight up free weights. And I will tell you for a fact that nothing builds muscle quicker than free weights. It's what I did. That's what I used in order to build my base up there. The reason why I'm so big is mostly not just the drug. It's the fact that, in the late 90s and early 2000s and on up, the only thing I ever used was free weights. I used free weights and I used kettlebells. Now, I did have a total gym machine. I was featured in the magazine. So naturally, I use a total gym on my off days, but I mainly use free weights. Okay? I use free weights at Gold's Gym and trained before I had my shift, which was from 3:45 to 12:15. And after I got off work, or either that, or if I was going to work a double, I would have about 2 hours in between, which is 2 hours of paid time, by the way. And I would work until like 8 o'clock or so forth. But between those 2 hours, downstairs was the detention officer's little gym, and all of it was just free weights. So I would just get in another workout before I took a little bit more of my little spaghetti, and stuff. Or actually, I would take a little spaghetti before then, either that and then pop an energy drink or something in order to keep me awake to do my 16-hour shift and everything. you know. But everything that I did in the late 90s, early 2000s was for the most part free weights. That's how I got big, and that's why my cousin is getting humongous there. It's just the free weights here. If he was training, he wouldn't be so big if he was training with mostly cables and little rubber bands and stuff like that, you know. And that's the problem with a lot of these pro bodybuilders. They're dependent too much upon machines and they're dependent upon cables and they're working more on their drug protocol than they're actually actual training. You got to do some straight up brutal training. You know, when you see Sean Ray, what is he in those old 90s videos? What is he mostly working out on? Free weights. Ronnie Coleman, you know, come on, free weights. All of the great bodybuilders, the Kevin Lavronis, the Sean Rays, the Dorian Yates, the Mike Metzers, the Arnold Schwarzenegger, and stuff like that, they were all using free weights. All right. I don't know if I pronounce Arnold Schwarzenegger's name wrong. It could be. But in any event, I'm not going to edit the video. But in any event, folks, that's the biggest part that actually plays in terms of Vegan Gains is training. It isn't just the drugs do make a difference here, that's for sure. The spaghetti makes the difference here, but also the diet and most importantly the training. He's getting huge, mostly because all he's using is free weights. I mean, his friend, he's doing clean and jerks too. You know, for some smelly vegans, they do some pretty hardcore workouts, so I will give them that there. But just wanted to offer my observation on the whole situation. But that's all I got to say for today. Be sure to like and subscribe to the Vince Goodrum channel. Click the link below. Also visit vincegoodrum.com. And as always, peace and soul.